This is my first retreat. In fact, I had a very short leeway to make the decision, and I came from a business trip, and from Philippines I traveled over to here because, again, I wanted to feel the encouragement. I wanted to feel this group positivity. I wanted to learn more than what I'm learning, and based on what I see, there's opportunities to learn a lot, and indeed I wasn't disappointed. There's so many new ideas. I met so many new people that I think I'm encouraged on this investment journey and trading journey.
In Singapore, we lead very busy life, right? So I wanted to come to this retreat to have a session to proper lock in, to focus on just learning, absorbing, trading, so that my results can get better. I love it. I think the team made a very good, organized a very good retreat for every one of us. Had lots of, the speaker lineup was great, had lots of learnings, had lots of takeaways, and I think personally it really helped me in my whole journey in investing. I think it's the whole concept of just having a session where you can, where I can block out all distractions and just focus on getting the results.
It's my second retreat, and I really enjoy the community, the learning, the sessions. It's always new ideas, up-to-date items.
It's been completely eye-opening. I'm amazed at how fantastically the operations are run. I'm very impressed with how the business is run. But aside from that, there's been a lot of learnings, met a lot of amazing people, great insights, some golden nuggets of wisdom over the past couple of days. I think it's important to be exposed to all of these different facets. There's so many instruments out there, there's so many different ways to get to a final destination. But then once you're exposed to these multiple channels and ways and journeys, you then have the power in your capability to craft your own journey. So that to me has been very eye-opening the past couple of days.
I've been to the first retreat, okay, in Batam. Every country has a different culture, so I get to taste a little bit of each one every time I go to a different one.
For me, the live trading, practical hands-on live trading, that's the most interesting for me. I learned a couple of small breakthroughs. Again, just by doing live trading, I learned a few tips and tricks that I can apply to my own trading style.
There's lots of sharing and lots of trading action, right? So in Singapore, I cannot fully focus on doing the activities, but here I can really follow the speaker, follow the coaches, execute the trades, and just becoming more proficient in trading.
I think all the sessions are really inspiring, and I think what I would take away is what Fang Ying shared about the algo trading. Yeah, it's something that I actually did dabble in it a little bit, like using Pine Script, all those, but I think what she taught really made me more motivated to continue trying.
Hanging out with the speakers, having the diamond dinner, getting airtime with some of these extremely successful people in their own portfolios, right? Some in real estate, some property, some crypto, some US stocks, and so on, and just learning, identifying some of their mistakes, challenges, their biggest breakthroughs, what has allowed them to sort of scale it to the next level, and hearing some of these things. I think the interactions with the speakers have really been useful and valuable.
Why should you join the retreats by MWA? Is because you get to experience different cultures in different countries, and also you learn a lot from the different speakers that come. Okay, each speaker, they are so mind-blowing, like you never knew it existed until you come for the retreat. Okay, all this. So join us and you will learn a lot more than just crypto.
There are quite a number of positive things I took away from this retreat. Right now, at the end of it, I made a lot of new friends. I think, if we trade as a team, as a community, that would be very helpful. It gives me the push and accountability as well. I believe I found an accountability partner. I've met many of the people from MWA, the coaches as well. Having that face-to-face time, I think is very critical. And again, I had a lot of small aha moments along the way, along the corridor. I stopped a coach and asked a question. It really helped me a lot. So I would really recommend coming for the retreat.
Just block out the time, just come. It will definitely benefit you from your trading journey, and also importantly, it's it's a getaway, and you get to know all the community members, get to know all the coaches, the staff on a more intimate level, which will definitely help in your trading journey and helping you to make money through trading.
When you have a community around you physically, it's really motivating, and you're really, I think it really, when you go back, it will really encourage you to keep striving, and you really learn a lot from the retreat, from many speakers and different instrument of investments. Yeah, so do join the next retreat.
Through the retreat, being a diamond, having access to the speakers, the different coaches, airtime, proximity, getting to learn from them, I think is something super crucial. So during the retreat itself, there's so many opportunities to go and meet with these people, spend some time, understand from them, speak with them, ask the right questions, ask the wrong questions, get some of the insights, and most importantly is then get the confidence to take the action after that, and not just get all of this wisdom and then just sit on it, but also about actually taking that big right step and making that action after the retreat is over.
Biggest bonus and takeaway is that I enjoyed it so much, and I think that a lot of students and a lot of the community members I spoke to as well also enjoyed it a lot, benefited them a lot. So the biggest takeaway is that I want to join the next retreat.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to another episode of our Friday AMA session. Right, if you have already tuned into the channel and you can see me and hear me clearly, do let me know in the chat so that I know we are ready to start. Okay, good. I start to see comments coming in. Hello. Okay, let's go. Okay, sure, let's go. Okay. Good evening. All right. Okay. I see more than a handful of you already. Okay, let's get started. Okay, so welcome everyone. Now we are already stepping into end of June, which in a way is also mean that we already kind of past half of the 2026 already. Time flies, right? Okay, so now for the past this week, right, from the past AMA session we had 2 weeks ago to today, I'm pretty sure you have seen a drastic change in the market because it has been dropping quite scarily for the past few days, right? So, there are people with different scenarios, right? Some of you are knowing that, especially for those people who are new, who have coins you wish to add into your portfolio at lower price, I believe you should be relatively excited now because for those relatively discounted price you want to get in with the coin you like, you are definitely seeing the price approaching your target price, right? And so for those of you who've been trading, right, good thing about trading futures is that not only you can make money when the market goes up, you can also make money when the market is going down. So this is definitely a way when you short, you have more opportunities to basically score yourself a good return trade. Right? So how many of you actually caught any drop in any of the coins? Right? Do share what are the coins you shorted this week and make a decent profit, right? And so for those people who are not so familiar with futures trading, don't be surprised if you see a very strong coin, right, in the list. It could even be BTC, Ethereum, right? Okay. All right, and also, I mean, if you're new to our YouTube channel, right, one thing, right, to know that is for YouTube live channel, right, there will be some lag in the chat message coming in, right? So usually later when you ask questions or you respond, do expect me to see in about half a minute lagging, right? Let me open up the Zoom, open up the comment section a bit bigger so I won't miss your message. Hey. Okay. Well, I don't see any coin popping up. Why? None of y'all shorted anything this week? Or any of the coin that I'm planning to buy? Right, so for those people who join this AMA for the first time, right, this session I'll definitely it's like ask me anything session. So we definitely open up for questions. So later on, right, if you have any questions you want to ask, right, regarding any technical analysis issues, right, type your question in the comment box. If also apart from asking or you try to figure out any of your doubt you have with your own trading, if there is any coins you are eyeing or any trade setup you are eyeing you want us to go through and analyze together, right, do let me know the name of the coin and together with the time frame you are looking for and the direction of the trade you are looking for. Okay, so trade things together so I can go through the coin together with you. Okay, do not just show me the Ethereum and show me Solana and expect me to understand what you are trying to ask. Okay, for the lagging is quite a trick. Okay, for Z3U311, okay, you can ask a trade setup, we can go through, no problem, right? But just to note that because some of the participants here are not from our community, so they might not know what you're talking about. In fact, I was actually traveling this week, Ken, so I'm also not following up. But later I will take a look and later we can go through the trade together. Okay. So Atom Trade Corp. Okay, later I will check it out. Oh, are we just now I've seen so many people saying hello. Are you guys telling me that none of you been trading or has any coins you're eyeing for to buy and accumulate to add into our portfolio now that the market is dropping? Got some Bitcoin last night when it dropped. Okay, good, Glenn. Okay, finally, I see someone taking action. Okay, all right, so keep the question coming in. All right, I will just let the question accumulate. Later, we'll go through the trade calls. Don't worry. All right, and being shorting bond, yes. When market dropping, right, people who knows how to short meme coin, right, usually are able to catch the biggest, fattest chunk of meat, right, because when market drop, right, meme coin are the one crash the most, right? Good, good, good. Hyperliquid holding strong, yes. Short make, good. Okay. Okay, I see someone has actually have action plan ahead. Okay, let's take a look at hyperliquid later. Yeah, hyperliquid is definitely one of the strong coins, right, for this year. Okay, great. Okay, very good. Keep the questions coming. Okay, let me just start the session content with my chart first. Can I have my screen displayed? Yeah. Okay, good. Right. So can everyone see my screen? Right now I'm showing the crypto graph. Right. If you can see my screen, please type a yes in the chat so I can start. Can anyone see my screen? Okay, and before I go on to take a look at the market, okay, I see yes, good. Okay, so do read the disclaimer we are rolling at the bottom, right? Just know that for tonight, whatever now analysis we share is purely for sharing and educational purpose, right? It's not they don't serve as financial advice as MWA and or us or me. None of us is regulated by MAS, right? So those are not serving as a financial advice, right? So if you wish to take any of the information, right, before taking action, do your due diligence and risk inspection. Okay, all right. So first of all, before we actually dive into the market, dive into the chart itself, right? We always want to look ahead of us, what's gonna happen for the next few days, right? So that we can avoid unnecessary volatilities when it comes to the trading, right? Because right now, as we can see, today is Friday already, right? For those people who are new to this whole crypto market, right? We always mention that although crypto is a 24/7 market, it's always open every hour and every day, including the weekends. But usually when Friday starts, like over the weekend, we generally start to see the market, the trading volume start to drop, and the movement tend to be lesser because simply, although it is 24/7 market, but institutions do not operate over the weekend, right? So over the weekend, you do see retail traders still doing, but generally the market activities, right, is expected to be low compared to weekdays, right? And so if you do not wish to have a trade open and then hold the trade for 2 days without it going anywhere, right? Then weekend usually we will consider not to trade. All right. Then when it comes to weekdays, right, that's where we see more decent trading volumes that usually will drive the price to either direction as you desire or against you, right? In some case, right? But during the weekend, it's ideal for us to trade because the volume is more decent, but we want to avoid unnecessary risk when the price become extremely volatile due to news or financial events that will affect the market. Okay, so always start the week by checking what's gonna happen in the coming week, right? So now if it's a weekend, right, although I might not be placing trade, but I will be looking, right, at potential trade setups or directions I want to look into for the coming weeks, especially when Monday the market starts, right? But if I look at what's happening on the coming months, right, we see that for Wednesday and Thursday, both days we actually have like more important financial events that might affect the market. So on Wednesday, which is 1st of July, we have Fed Chairman speak. Calvin Walsh, being the new Fed Chairman, right? He recently, right? Obviously, market is definitely closely watching what his speech is gonna give the direction to the market, and during the event, right, especially at the at the beginning hour, right, you will expect a lot of market volatility. So if you're not that kind of trader who trade based on news or rumors, you don't want to take unnecessary risk, try to avoid those trading hours. Right, so for example, you know that, okay, coming 1st of July, I have Kelvin Walsh speaking at 9 p.m., right? Then if I open any trade before Wednesday, I want to make sure this trade is concluded. That means I closed it, or at least if I'm in profit, I have moved my stop loss to protect my capital and some profit to cover my costs, so that at least I can break even, right? When the volatility kicks in, if it turns the market into the direction against me, right? At least I won't lose unnecessarily. Okay, or let's say if you do not have a trade open from Monday, Tuesday, or before the event starts, right? When at 9 o'clock, I will definitely avoid trading, jumping into the market and open trades when I expect or foresee that volatility happens, right? So if I trade open beforehand, try to close it before the event starts, right? Then if there's event happening, I want to trade only when the dust is settled in the market, which is after the event, right? And for this case, Wednesday, followed by Wednesday is Thursday. We have non-farm employment change and unemployment rate update, right? As you can see, the red arrow actually show you there are high impact into the market expected, right? So if you don't want to be stuck in between events that's happening right after another, right? Simply avoid trading from Wednesday night time, all right, all the way to Thursday night time, right? And Friday morning you can come back to the market when the dust is settled, right? Or if you are late hour, if you trade in the middle of the night, then maybe Thursday night time after the event has finished, the rate has been disclosed. Okay, so generally speaking, we look at this, right? We still have Monday that can potentially open trades if the trade setup meets our expectation or meets our planning, right? That we have already planned ahead now. Okay, now these are the events, right? So let's take a look at the market. Okay, so first we always start by looking the most leading coins that always give us the general direction, right, of the market movement, where when it moves, 99% of the coins in the market actually follow it, which is our Bitcoin, right? So right now, as I mentioned, for the entire June, right, we had a relatively drastic drop in Bitcoin, which also leading the entire market, right? So as June is coming to an end, right, we have also experienced quite a bit of drop. That's why just now I asked if anyone has been shorting, grab the opportunity to short, right? But if you are still holding on to short or you're looking to open a short position, right, do not be blinded by the fact that it has been dropping, right, and then you expect to drop more. Is it possible? Yes and no, right? Because if we pull out and then actually zoom out and look at the bigger picture, if we look at Bitcoin in general on daily time frame, right, we can see that we have reached a rather crucial support, right, which is about 58K range, right? Because from the past, you can see clearly that whenever Bitcoin dropped to about 60 to 58 this range, right, it actually bounced up many times, right? Even for this year alone, beginning of the year when the market crashed, right, it stopped dropping at this range. And then beginning of this month, when it first dropped to here, it actually quickly recovered. But of course, now, without much like bullish momentum in bouncing back up, it's actually coming back down to retest this support again. And if we zoom in closely, we can see that it's giving a lower high, lower low already, right? So if we look closely at current market where the price of Bitcoin is standing, right? It's obviously that if the price actually break through this support for the first time this year, right? Definitely we can expect a lot more downside to go, because on a bigger picture, we can see that, right, if we break through, right, we generally don't have a more major support until like 49, 50K range, right? But that being said, it will be a huge range for Bitcoin to drop. Okay, so just now I see someone said that you bought like Bitcoin. Yes, last night, right? So kudos. That's definitely one of the good support range that you are getting into, right? So for spot accumulation, especially if you are using the DCA, dollar cost average strategy, right? Every support will be a good entry point. So 60K, 59K-ish, we got in, right? So if because we can see here, right? The current candle, we cannot look at it because this one is still forming, because we are looking at daily candle. So it won't conclude until 8 a.m. tomorrow, right? So right now, previous candle actually still managed to close above 59K, right? So if it bounce back up from here, that means this 59, 58 support can hold, right? Then definitely by manage to buy your position here, right? You got in at a very good entry price. Then if the other scenario is if it break through below this support, right? Then from the news, from the support that it just has been broken to the next support, right, is definitely not the time you want to rush in and start to accumulate when the price is dropping, right? As we always say, right, never try to catch a falling knife, right? So if you are DCAing, support here will be one of the buying price, and if we really go down to next support and price stabilizes there, that's where you can plan for your next entry price. That means if you buy in trenches, one trench here, and next trenches will be somewhere around 49 to 50K. Right? You can either buy when if you are a spot buyer, there's always a way to set a limit price to buy, or you can wait for it to bounce there to show a support forming to place your order, right? But short term wise, if I look at this chart, I'll definitely more towards the bearish side, because biasness, the direction I'm seeing is definitely bearish, because generally we can see a clear downtrend forming, right? And the EMAs has already fan out parallelly to give you a very clear downtrend indicating here, right? So right now, if I look at the market, generally, I'll be looking for a chance to short whenever I have a chance, right? So later, we will be going through some of the coins, or like go through the market, see if we can catch or see or spot any good short setup. But remember, when we are shorting, although it's a downtrend, right? The basic knowledge we know is when it's as support, right? This is definitely not the time we rush into shorting, right? We want to short either at a resistance and sell at a support, or if this current support is broken, later, right, it will become a resistance. And that's where it will be our new resistance to short from. But right now, while it's still holding as a support, we do not rush into short. So generally speaking, right, if you look at the bigger picture, if you want to short when it's on a downtrend, the best time to enter is when it pull back to the resistance, be it the trend line or our EMAs or the horizontal support value, which is about, if it does pull back to 73, right? But one thing is, if it pull back all the way, there's also a chance for it to break up and then actually go higher from there. But safely speaking, if right now look at Bitcoin, if when it pull back to anywhere around 68, okay, and then show a rejection from this range, it will be a good opportunity for us to short from the resistance, right? Or another scenario is if it does in the next 1 or 2 days or few hours, right, it does break below the support, then as I said, when the support is broken, it could be considered as turning into a new resistance, right? If it fail to go back up and recover from this support, then that will be our new resistance level to short till next support level. Okay, so now this is a daily chart. Then if we zoom in, right, as I said many times, right, doesn't matter what time frame of the chart you are looking at, whenever you are shorting, you realize the range you are looking for is actually ultimately always converging. All right, so now if we look at we zoom in a bit to a smaller time frame of 4 hour on Bitcoin, right, you can see on 4 hour, right, there's of course the upper trend line, which is potentially a resistance, about 70k is still there, right? But if we zoom in, right, we can actually see more price point being stated because simply there's more candles, right, giving you more lines to draw. So if I zoom in, I can see there's also a potentially forming a resistance at this level, which is about 67k, at where the previous high was at, right? And our 200 MA is also around this level. So as I mentioned, whenever it pull back to a resistance, right, if it get rejected, then potentially it will come down again from there. So next time, that means for the next few days, if it doesn't break down from this level straight away, when they pull back, this is where I will then state the zone, right? What we call it a pullback zone or golden pocket, retracement zone or pullback pocket. Basically, when the price pull back to this level, right? And then that's where I will start to wait for a proper rejection from the resistance and look for a proper short. That's how we plan for a short with the trend. Okay, so when you zoom in, then obviously you have more lines, more price point to be monitoring, right? Then you have potentially more trading opportunities or entry levels to be spotted. Okay. All right, so this is BTC, right? So with this idea in mind, that I know that right now BTC is a support line, a support level, right? It's a range, right? Because if you look closely, you can't really give exact clear price point to where will be the support line or value for it to be considered as a breaking point. But as I said, I want it, if I was to short as a breakdown, right, I want it to clear the entire zone that enclose below 58k, right, from here below, right? But if it pull back in the next few days, then as and when it pull back and show a rejection from the major resistance, right, that will be the time I look for a good short opportunity again. Because as I always say, right, when we trade on the chart based on technical analysis, we want to trade range by range. So between one support and one resistance, we have one range, right, for the price to move, right, until it moves to the next range. While it's still within this range, we try to maximize our profit by shorting at the resistance or longing at the support. By doing so, we can manage to get the best risk to reward ratio. Okay. All right. So that's a BTC. So with this idea in mind, knowing that, okay, for next few hours or days, I'm looking for either a breakout for me to short further or a pullback. But if it pull back, of course, I need to wait much longer for it to actually go back to the resistance and come back down again, right? Then when I look at other coin, I will plan my trade according to this biasness in mind. Okay, so now let's go to the comment boxes and see what are the questions you all put there. Okay, I'll start from the beginning. Atom USDT. Okay, so yeah, I haven't seen the trick call. Let me see. So I assume it's a okay, so it's a short setup on 1 hour. It's obviously a breakdown short. Atom. Oh, when is it? Oh wow, that's a very long time ago trick call. A few days ago. Let me see. 24th of June. It's a breakdown short. What time is it? Yeah. 3 p.m. 24th of June, 3 p.m. here. So it's a short setup about here. Entry level. Oh. Entry level 1.7. TP 1.654. 1.783 stop loss. And the breakout line was 1.709. Okay, this is a very straightforward breakout short lah, right? So you can see, right, the support line is about here. Okay, the support line in the trick call given is at 1.709, right? Even if it's a bit different, if let's say you refer to the previous candle, it's about 712, 713-ish, right? So if I were to draw my support line, is probably around this level, right? Because one thing is if the current one, you can see a support line here because every time, right, if you zoom in closely, although those small candles are really short, but you can see every time when the candles the price touches this level, right, then it stops and then pull back, right, hit, pull back, hit, pull back. So this obviously gives you a clear shown of price being supported here. And then if you refer to the past, right, last time when the price dropped to this level, it also got stopped here, right? So zoom in, I think with lesser candle it's more obvious, right? Can you see a support line around here? 1 point touch and then a few point touch. Then this gives you a support, which once you see a candle close below, right, this range, then obviously it means that this support no longer holds, right? That's the scenario just I mentioned. When the support was broken, this potentially become a new resistance, and that's where we short from, right? So, and I'm pretty sure the entry is set based on where this candle roughly closed, right? So if you point your candle, if you point your cursor on this particular candle that has broken down from your support, right? It closed. You can see the value it closed at is 1.701, right? So 1.7 is, basically you can enter around this level, right? So when this one you enter, your your stop loss, obviously, based on what we taught, right, is above your previous resistance, which is indicated by our previous high point here. See, the previous high, right, the value goes as high as 1.775. Then when set stop loss, usually we don't precisely put the stop loss right at the price point. We give a bit of buffer. So above 1.775, put at 1.78. And TP wise, same thing. When you short at the resistance, and you TP at support. So when you look down, as the price goes down, any potential support line should be your potential TPs, because when price hit the TP, there's always a chance for it to stop dropping from there and bounce back up, right? So when this one was broken, if you look just at this recent period of the price action, there's no support, right? That's where you actually look to the left of the chart to look for previous price points that the chart has given you as a support. So clearly, if I look to the left, you see, we have obviously a support forming at this level. You see, previously when the price dropped to here, it bounced back up, right? Let me zoom in the candles. You see, 1, 2 times it actually touched and then go up from there. Then just nice, right? You can almost precisely draw the exact same value as your support line at 1.654. So obviously you should put this as your first TP, right? So that means when the price drop from here, right, in case it bounce back up, you should always protect your profit by taking some off the table, and that's where you move your stop loss. So even when it hit, let's say you ignore what happened after this, right? So that means if you have a TP over here, right, when it hit this price, because we cannot predict the future, right? So you don't know whether at this point can it go down further or not, or will it go back up, right? So this is why we always tell you guys, we always emphasize it is important that when it hit a support resistance, take some profit and then move your stop loss to entry, so that even if later the price actually go back up, right? Not only you will not lose money, but you also have secured yourself some profit from it. But let's say if you move your stop loss, right, to have a risk-free trade and see what happens next. And then it continue go down from there, right? Then you can enjoy more profit as it go down further and further. Okay, so that's how you spot a trade based on what we taught in terms of trading strategies, right? This is clearly a great breakout strategy, right? Then after you spotted the trade setup and you plan your trade already, then these are the details in execution to make sure you not only you spotted the right trade setup, you also actually being able to profit and protect your profit along the way. Okay. Okay, this is atom, right? Is this clear? If anything, Tia. Law, first one you put atom. Okay, never mind. Let me go through Tia. Okay, so the atom was a breakdown trade. Tia was when they are, let me see. Tia. Let me see the trick code. Tia was supposed to before that. Okay, Tia was on 22nd of June. At 12 p.m. Yeah, about here. Okay, here the setup will be different from atom, right? Because this is a trade set based on not breakout. This one, yes, this trade call is mine. So this one I plan based on a short with 22nd. Yeah, this is a trade with the trend setup, right? Because back then, when I post this trade, right, what you can see here is obviously previously Tia before I place a trade, Tia obviously show a reversing of the trend. It was on an uptrend, and then it had went through a period of slow trend reversal, right? You can see from here, right? The EMA slowly first jungle together, and then they finally fan out, and then went below 200 MA, showing a formation of a downtrend, right? So until the moment I post a trade call, right, it kind of just finished showing a conversion into a downtrend. Can you see the transit here? Right. So to me, this trade was spotted as a short with the trend because for short with the trend, this both trend line, right, and my support line, right, can you see this level here, right, and also the 200 MA, right, always serve as a strong support or resistance, depends on where the candles are, right. So at this point, when I see the price pull back from the drop, and then when it hit the trend line and around the 200 MA, right, then I saw this bearish engulfing candle showing a rejection from the resistance. And meanwhile, while it's doing it, right, the downtrend still maintains. We have 200 MA above 50 EMA, above 21 EMA, above 10 EMA, right? So to me, this and the candle closed as a bearish engulfing and around the retracement zone, right? So to me, this shows a potential. I mean, it has already got rejected from the resistance. So to me, this is a short with the trend setup, right? But of course, what happened after this is after I think another one or two candles, right? Instead of going further down, it actually broke above, right? That time the most generally the market is basically showing a more bearish movement, right? But here together with Bitcoin, right, on that period of time itself, right, both actually suddenly create a pump and then went above the resistance, right? And when I take this trade, right, I was shorting around this range, and same thing for shorting. We want to put the stop loss above the recent resistance, which to me is around this level. Where's my stop loss? Yeah, let me see. So my stop loss is at 0.3832. So yeah, so this is based on previous high levels over here and here, right? Can you see 1, 2, 3 points, and then I did give a bit of buffer around this level, right? So it's not a very far stop loss, about 3%, right? And when it break out, then the candle actually touched my stop loss. Then after that, it went further up until I think the next support over here. Next resistance, the previous resistance around this level, and then it got rejected from there, and then come back down, come back up, right? So for this trade, I would say good thing is my stop loss wasn't that far, right? So when it hit, it's only 3%. So let's see how many percent it pumped up. 10%, right? So for me personally, I'm not a fan of having a very wide stop loss, right? So to me, in a way, it got stopped out at 3% rather than having to endure a 10% or I mean anywhere in between that. Because if let's say it pump up so much, right? If the further my stop loss is, then either the smaller my position size is or the bigger my loss will be, right? So for this trade, I'm actually quite happy that I got out right when they break above the resistance, right? So all these losses, right, did not occur to me. Okay. Yeah, but of course, if you see, but I mean, this is my trick call, right? So honestly, basically earlier this week, right? When I look at the market, right, it's like obviously a short buyers market. So generally, there's a lot of short setup I was looking at, and yeah, honestly, out of all the short trade I personally took, right, this is the only one that broke out, right? And it's also kind of traumatizing to me, right? Later on, right, as you can see after it pumped, right, obviously what it did is it then quickly got rejected soon, right? It actually very quickly formed a double top, not so even, but it's clearly a double top, and then break down again, right? I was looking at it when it break down, right? I was like, should I short here? I was like, nah, but here kind of just, hit me with a stop loss. So I've been avoiding trading here then for the following few days, right? So there's a few missing opportunity, right? So when this break down, I didn't enter short again, right? When they pull back and retest, I also never short. And later on, you can see, right, it actually formed a triple top and break down again. I still avoid trading it, right? So this trade I didn't take, although so for the past few days, every time I see TR, I was like, actually this one looks like a short setup, but because the other day, right, it actually kind of slightly pumped, so I will avoid trading this, right? So later on, even it got rejected by 200 MA again, I still didn't short. So I mean, that's a thing about trading, right? Like we cannot win all the time, right? But when the setup is correct, although later on the market did suddenly went against me on this particular trade, first of all, I'm not mad because I have a stop loss that protect me, so I didn't lose more than what I want to or what I can afford. I am comfortable with. Then secondly, then I simply move away from this particular coin and then make back from other trades. Okay. Right. Okay, that's TIA. Okay, now we move on to the next is MU. 1 hour, 11:30 bottom short. E 1130. Oh, you mean the value, is it? Let me draw. 1130. Bottom short. You mean if we close below 1130 and short, I assume, right? So it will be considering as a breakdown short lah. Right, correct me if I understand wrongly, but I assume it is like that. Okay, so if we look at MU now, right, this support is pretty obvious, right, around this 1130. But this, you can see this chart, right, is, first of all, this is the count chart I will avoid trading if I could, or if I have a better alternative, right? Because one thing is, you see, when I try to draw the support line, right, assume yours 1130 is your support line, right? One thing I don't like about this coin is you see the candles, right? First of all, there are a lot of, there are from time to time like long palm candle, right? You see the one candle moves so much. How many percent is it? One candle, one hour candle. That means in 1 hour it moves up 15%, right? But the rest of the candle you can see actually are relatively short. That means this is a coin that not a lot of people, not a lot of regular trading activities be happening, right? But whenever there are people coming to pump or dump, right, then the coin can suddenly move a lot, right? Then secondly is, if I were to draw the support line, 1130 is definitely a value I can consider as a support. But you can see, right, like the past, whenever the price touch this value, they don't stop right at it, right? They actually sometimes overshot a little bit. So plus minus, I will have to consider this whole range as a support or resistance. Then in that way, if I were to use a particular value to gauge a short, right, then I cannot be so sure, right? But if I look at what's happening now, then obviously right now we already have a double top potentially forming here, right? So technically, if we break below this support range, together where the 200 MA and the support range coincides, right? If this one break down from this value, then it looks like a potential breakdown short to me. Okay, but right now, like you can see previously, when the price touched this support range, right, it actually didn't break through, it bounced back up. But right now, this low is obviously much lower than this high is obviously much lower than this high. So that means it is getting more bearish and potentially go down, right? So if this one go down and break below, from what I see, it can be considered as a breakout short. Okay, it's just that if we close below this value, technically the major support I can see is here, about 1021 over here, right? If you look back to the past. Oh, this is a trade I went through 2 weeks ago, 12th of June. I think someone also asked, but back then it was showing a potential breakout. Right, see? This is the arrow I drew on 12. Last AMA, right? So it did break up, right, above this resistance, right? Not sure whoever asked about this did take the breakout trade or not. Okay, so right now, then potentially if we break below, then this to this range is a potentially short setup profit margin lah. Okay, but just do note one thing is within this range, as I said, right, do not ignore those small resistance or support within a price range that can potentially be a new support or new resistance when the price bumps, right? So if it does close below, right, let's say if I have a bearish candle close below, ideally not too far so that we get a good entry, right? Something like this, right? Do look to the left, right? You realize, although it's still near, right? But sometimes when the price drop to this level, right? It also bounce. Do you see? Right? So this tells me that if I were to short, right? If the candle, even if it closed bearish and below this support, right? I might not want to short yet just before it hit this line. Because what if it go down a little bit and actually get supported here, right? So ideally, if I were to trade as a short setup, right, rather than it close below 1130, actually I prefer for it to close below 1106 here, then to trade it like a support. Okay. So 1130 is not wrong. It's just that, as I said, for this particular coin, because of all the weeks, right, and it's not so regular price movement, right? For me personally, I cannot quite decide a good breakout value. Then, ideally, if I can find any other coins, then I would prefer to trade others. Right? But if it does break down below 1106 for me, then if I enter anywhere below this range, right, that is not too far, right, then my next major support as my TP will be around 1022, right? Then that will give me about 7% profit margin to drop, right? Then if I were to put my stop loss be above the previous high, then that's around here, right? With a bit of buffer, maybe I can put around here. So roughly it's about 8% stop loss. So if this trade setup, then even in the most ideal scenario, my risk to reward ratio is a bit less than 1, which is something that I will not take. Okay, for me personally, I will trade if the risk to reward ratio is more than 1. Okay, that's for MU. Right. Okay, just now we went through. Okay, someone been buying BTC, someone been shorting bond. Happily quit. Yeah, let's take a look at happily quit. Yeah, happily quit. Okay, so happily quit. Definitely still, although there is a correction, right? But it's definitely still holding strong above its major support ever since it break above the $55, right? So it has been testing the all-time high a few times already, 1, 2, 3, 4 times. Okay, and right now, although it's showing a bit of like a breaking down, but I would say if you look at the hyperliquid for the past behaviors, right? Although it sometimes do go below the 200 MA or horizontal support, right? But it usually it's just accumulating, right? And then after the accumulation finish, there's still a chance for it to go up again, right? Because if you look at the general trend, right? Long-term wise, ever since May, right? It has been holding up upward movement, And short-term wise, right now, because the market, together with the market, it is showing a downward correction price movement, right? But hyperliquid is definitely some coin that I will not wish to short, because this narrative and in terms of as the DEX itself, the performance, the user base, everything just showing the full potential of this project as a very, if you talk about as a as a business, right? It's definitely a growing business with positive revenue, right? So I don't see uh, this project, this coin itself as a good shorting target, right? But if I think Coach Brandon the other day also mentioned, right? If you still plan to buy hyperliquid, right? Since whenever it's at the support accumulating, right? It gives you a good chance to buying some, right? Because right now it's hovering about $60, right? If you haven't got in and you wish to, right, this support level around $60, $61, right, is definitely one of the good entry point. Okay, then if a break below, right, then the next support we see is about $55, right? These two not that far off, right, compared to the recent all-time high. But if any point of time, do I want to short this? Definitely not. Okay. Okay, MU 1130 breakdown short. Okay, yeah, so I'm right. 1130 is your support line now. So yeah, I already explained my view on MU. So wait for BTC to further drop. Yeah, so BTC 60, then next support we see will be 50. Yeah, 50. Yeah, where is it? Oh, just now I was looking at, that's not the chart I drew on. Yeah, so I expect Bitcoin to go down further. Next one, at least about here, mid 50, right? Then if that one also cannot hold, then next we are seeing is 49.50 already, around here. Okay, so if we break down, definitely we have more room to buy spot. Okay, all right, now let me catch up on the chat. Currently shorting Bitcoin and SAFE. Okay. Still holding. Then I assume we are hoping for it to break down. Okay. Next one, I'm to short JTO. Okay, just to share okay, you can see my watch list, right? This few coins I've been monitoring for the past 1 or 2 days already, right? JTO, you were eyeing to short it. I was eyeing to long it when it break up. Okay, so you can see my trend line and together with the 200 MA, right? So every time when it was at resistance, I will just, I keep saying, okay, if it break up, I'm gonna long. If it break up, I'm gonna long. 1, 2, yeah, 1, 2, 3 times. You can see, right? It just touched, but it never closed because actually I started to look at it on Thursday, yesterday, right? So in the morning, it was like, it seems like it can break, but although it kind of closed above my trend line, but obviously since 200 MA is right there, right? Obviously I only want to long if it break above the 200 MA, right? So a few hours later, it didn't and come back down, right? So fine, I wait again, right? And then it pulled back, also didn't manage to break, right? And then this morning, obviously I don't wake up so early, like 5 o'clock is too early. So this morning, right, it actually like opened and then break above my 200 MA finally. But so this candle closed at 8 o'clock, right? So supposedly, right, I should be able to launch. But 8 o'clock, I was on my way to the airport. So after waiting for an entire day, right, I didn't manage to get in this trade. Right? I was like, what to do, right? Because it obviously break at 5 o'clock. I mean, this is a 5 o'clock candle which closed at 6 o'clock, right? But obviously I didn't wake up. But when I wake up, this candle was forming, right? So to me, it's clearly a breakout and retest kind of opportunity. So this trade come back to retest 200 MA as a support. And if it bounce with a bullish candle, then that's based on my normal ways of trading. I like to trade a retest after a breakout, right? Everything will be perfect, right? But I was on the Grab going to the airport. So sadly, when I got to the airport, right, and after I do all the check in and stuff, right, and look at it, and it has already successfully retest. So too bad, right? But and you were eyeing to short JTO, so now I assume you are looking for a pullback, right? Because it has pumped quite a lot. But if you short from this resistance, then it will be an obvious short against the trend. Because with this breakout, right, after this whole, like, I mean by now, like it's obviously turning into a more bullish setup already, right? You can see it's getting into a uptrend, right? So if you are shorting, this is typically what we call a short against a trend. So if it does get rejected by this resistance, right, and come back down, then while it's on the way to pull back to support, it could be your 50 EMA, could be a 200 EMA, right? Then typically that's what your short setup will be, right? But this is definitely not something we teach, or it's not strategy we recommend or actually practice in the community, right? So because if it's a uptrend, right, we always want to trade with the trend. That means if we pull back and instead of breaking down further, it actually holds at the support and go back up, right? We rather wait for it. We rather wait for the pullback to finish and long again, right? Because as long as the uptrend holds, right, we like to trade with the trend to ride its way going up instead of shorting, unless you are a very good scalper or you like to trade fast in, fast out. May I know what's the name of the new coin that replaced TON in CoinW? Is it Gram? Can't find this under the Binance umbrella. Yeah, TON renamed it to Gram, right? Because Telegram, right? Binance, I think I saw the announcement Binance made that they are doing the renaming, right? So if you've been holding TON coin, according to the article I read, the update post by Binance, there's no action needed from holder, right? If you don't see the symbol, let's see. Binance listing you simply see whether had they finished the rebranding, right? Because not usually it won't like it will take some time for it to like to list the rebranded coin, right? So yeah, so don't worry. In future, if you got anything you're not sure, always Google, right? You can see it already stated here, right? Based on Binance, right? The swapping will happen on 30th of June. Today is 26th. So got to wait lah. So right now, technically it's still under so-called ton, right? So only 30th of June, end of the month, then they will freeze the existing token, right? Then they do the swapping. And you can see it's gonna take 2 days, right? And then only they will list and open Gram token for trading. Okay, so if you've been holding ton or you want to trade ton, better wait for 2nd of July, 2nd of July lah. Okay. Retracement zone is the term we use for the basically the zone or the range or the space between 21 EMA and 50 EMA, because usually if you look at a coin, right, you realize when a coin, be it in an uptrend or downtrend, right, as long as it's trending, right, often, let me find a more nicely trending chart. JTU is definitely not one of it, right? So, okay, using Ethereum as example, right, you know our EMAs, right? You realize, be it on an uptrend or downtrend, right? As we always say, right, first of all, the coin doesn't move in one straight line. So when it go down, it doesn't go down, right? It doesn't just go down, 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 right? So it usually go down a bit, pull back, go down a bit, pull back, go down a bit, but zigzagging the way according to the trend direction, right? So for example, you see here is a downtrend, it pull back and continue to go down, pull back. And every time it pull back, it gets lower, right? The highs get lower, the lows get lower, right? But based on what we observe, the reason also partly what's the reason when we use EMA, we use 10, 21, 50, right? Because we realize, right, every time when on the trend, when they pull back, right, it usually goes to a pullback or retrace, whichever word you use, right? It usually retrace or pull back to this zone between 21 and 50 EMA before it continue to go down, right? So this is why we call it a retracement zone. Some of the trader also call it a pocket, right? Same thing. For TI trade, when I see price moving up, can you do a hedging and take long position? Would I prefer that? I personally don't do hedging. So if I short and then it suddenly break above, I will only be thankful that I have a stop loss there to protect me, so that my loss is managed, right? But will I jump in to open a long position just to hedge my losses? I don't do that. Okay. 3%. No, there's no. I don't have. No, 3% my maximum stop loss for all trade? No, right, John? If you are in our community, you see the trade I post definitely is never max at 3%. Okay, I don't have a fixed percentage for stop loss. All right, I say this many times. I draw based on the chart what it gives me. I plan. I calculate accordingly, right? If I have, let's say, for example, okay, use JTO as an example, right? If I do caught the breakout this morning, right? Based on what I always do, I put my stop loss below the previous low, which is here, is 9.9, almost 10%, right? I will put my stop loss accordingly. I will not pull my stop loss here, right? Just so that it will be kept within 3%. Okay, I always trade based on my setting rules. Prasa sorry, I think I kind of butchered your name, but MU. Oh, are you the one who asked about MU last week? You took the MU long last week and then nearly 2K there. Oh, good. Good to know someone actually take action, not only ask for fun. Very good. Congrats on the $2,000 thing. Hyperliquid be added to MAS. Yeah, it's really like weird because Hyperliquid is a decentralized exchange, right? So I honestly not sure what MAS gonna do about it, right? Will it affect Hyperliquid? Depends on how you see it, right? If as a a trader or investor, right? The reason we use DEX, decentralized exchange, right? Basically is so that we know that it's not, not say no governance, but it is not like centralized control, right? I'm honestly not sure. I have no intel in the government, but let's see, right? XAU 1 hour 4058. Oh, 10 o'clock. You ask is 10:01. 4058. No. Isn't that breakout long? Oh, you asked me at 10 p.m. for breakout at 4058, but 10 p.m. it already closed way above. If you saw this trade at this, okay, like before I draw your resistance, you can see I already have a resistance here, 4047, right? So 1 hour, actually just now the 5 o'clock candle already closed above my resistance, right? Then to me, this one definitely is a breakout. And then if I miss this, then what happened is it actually went up a bit, come back to retest my support, my previously resistance, now turn into a support because when it touched it, it didn't close below. It actually then next candle, it actually go back up. So 10 o'clock is definitely too late. If I saw it at 9 o'clock, because this is 8 o'clock candle, it closed at 9, right? If I see 9 o'clock candle close here, right, this is a good long setup for me because it's a retest successful chart, right, to me. So yeah, so the upside is, I can see about until this line, the previous resistance, which can be a potential take profit. But if 10 o'clock, this candle already closed, right, then it doesn't make sense for me to long already, right? You can see when it closed here, because obviously be it my resistance or your resistance is around here, right? Then my next resistance is about here. This is a range, and this 9 o'clock candle which closed at 10 already, it's not half lah, but majority of it. So it doesn't make sense. I've been telling you this trick, right? If you identify the range already, draw out the midline of it, right? So if I see, if I identify this range, this dotted line is my midline, right? This candle, this 9 o'clock candle, when it close, it's already it already hit half of this price range. Then if I long, my profit margin left half, but my stop loss based on previous low is here. Then the risk to reward ratio not so good already, like that, right? 0.3 something only. But if you saw it at 9 o'clock, yes, this is a very good. Okay, based on your line, it's a breakout. Based on my line, it's a breakout retest. But either way, right, it will work. How long do I usually analyze a coin? Do I redo all the lines every time? Usually, I don't. Like the lines, because the support and resistance doesn't change easily. It just, at most, when the price moves, you will be adding more new lines, right? But the support and resistance usually will stay. But for me personally, I prefer to trade on the cleaner chart. So sometimes, if I know just now, sometimes my open chart there's already existing entry stop loss from my previous trade, which I don't even remember when, right? Did the trade happen? Then sometimes I remove for the join and draw over again. But support resistance often won't change. How long? Usually a chart analyze will take me about 10-15 minutes. GTU, no trade. Thanks. yeah, I know. I think, no win, also no loss, right? And not losing is a win already. Yeah, it's just kind of annoying because I really, because we coaches actually share trade ideas, right? Like literally, I talk about GTU 2-3 times yesterday. Yeah, it's okay. Like you say, right? No lose is a win. Yeah, just wait because they need to freeze the Tong coin, right? So to avoid people, so that they can kind of do what's that thing called? Like almost like a stock take lah, right? They need to count what's the existing amount of coin, and then because they need to do one-to-one swapping for everyone's account, right? So if they still allow transactions now, it will make the distribution very messy, right? It often see like last time, not sure if you know this coin called Render, right? They also renamed it. You just have to wait while they are doing the stock take. Okay, nothing you can do now. But don't worry, the exchange will bring it back as long as they don't delete it. Okay, all right. I caught up with all the questions. Time flies. It's already 10:20 plus. Okay, maybe let's wait for 2 more minutes until 10:25. Right? If you still have questions, I will wait and answer. Right? Because you type now, it will take a while to appear on my side. Okay, so yeah, I will wait for 2 more minutes. If I see more questions, I will answer. If not, we can then call it a night. So everybody go and enjoy our weekend, and then hopefully, right, for those coin that is still on a clear downtrend, right, next week, right, we can catch a good retracement zone, right, rejection to short from resistance, right, because as I always say, right, within the range, right, if we short from resistance all the way to next support, that's where we have the maximum profit margin, right? Either that, or if Bitcoin actually holds above, all right, then in the next 1 or 2 candles, right, we might be able to catch some good either rebounds or breakouts, because some of those strong coins, right, if they actually recovers together with the market, then the current correction, like uh, what's it? Uh, accumulation phase, right, could be the good, could be building a good momentum for upcoming bullish pump, right? Just like JTO, right? Hyperliquid, and that's definitely gonna keep a close monitoring on it. Yeah, that's a question. Having a stop loss for spot coins means you have to keep the coin on exchange. I okay. If what you mean is to have a stop loss order in place for your spot position, then yes, this can only be done if you leave it at exchange with a open stop loss order. Okay, but if let's say it's just given a stop loss price, right? We are not planning to already have a stop loss order open, then you can, if let's say you store in your hardware wallet, but you set a alert on trading view, if it hit the stop loss price you have in mind, then you withdraw the coin and sell. That's also one way. But of course, the first method, which is leave at exchange with order open, is your order will definitely be executed much more timely, much more effectively, and on time whenever the price happens, right? But if you do it the hardware wallet or store a other, I think store and withdraw the coin from exchange and later on do stop loss manually, then you are exposed to slower liquidation, slower execution, and sometimes when the price drop, if let's say you are not alerted in time, let's say you are sleeping and the price drops, then obviously you will miss the stop loss. Okay. No problem. But I think if talking about having a stop loss order, then definitely I think it's referring to having the order open on exchange. No, if your stop loss, it will be a conditional limit or trigger limit, depends on what exchange you are using, right? It cannot be a limit order. Limit order means, let's say stop loss for for long, right? A limit order will view you as and when as right at your price or at a better price. So let's say for example, right, using Bitcoin as example, right, if you buy at 60K, right, your stop loss is for example at 58K, right? You need to set a conditional limit order or trigger limit. That means when it go below 58K, then only your a limit order of stop loss for 50K will be triggered, right? If you buy Bitcoin at 60K, you already own the coin in your pocket in your wallet, and then you go and place a limit order of 58K without any condition, then immediately the order will be executed because your current market price is better than your limit order price. It will be exercised. All right. So do not mix it up, right? Make sure you know how to put a stop loss order for your spot position. Okay. You buy now, let's say for example, you bought at 60K. If you put limit order to sell at 58K instead of a conditional, I don't know what exchange you're using, some call it trigger limit, some call it conditional limit. Then blink and then your position will be closed at 6, like the market, similar to market price. What coin? Okay, right now, as I said, the Bitcoin is clearly at a support, right? So if it bounce back up, I would look for strong coins. For example, Hyperliquid, right? You can see, right? If let's say Bitcoin, right, actually go back up, right? Go back up, right? Close above, like the new resistance is there. If I'm looking at the nearer resistance, it's about 60,800 here, right? If we close above, I will have a mini. If you look at a smaller time frame, you see, although it's on bigger time frame seems like it's dropping, piercing through, right? But if you look carefully on smaller time frame, right, it's actually getting a stop at around this level, about 58K. Right. So if later it close back above 60K, 61K, right here, right, I might have a reverse, like short-term trend reverse. So it might pull back further before it come back down again. So if this happen, you see it's almost there already, right? If this one happen, then just now remember that I show Hyperliquid is at the resistance, right? Then Hyperliquid might potentially break above also, right? Then because like generally when market leading the leading coin, which is Bitcoin, right, showing bullishness, usually market do tend to rally along, right? Then in that case, when it happens, if Hyperliquid also break above this resistance, right, I can do a quick breakout long, right? So this is my watch list, right? I just landed in my hotel, so these are the coins I was watching since yesterday before I fly off, right? So some coin I haven't really. I just got back to start the session, so I haven't really start to scan through the market yet, right? So you can see my watch list since Thursday, right? These are the setups I already planned, right, previously, right? ING, this one breakout, right? That time I was in the air, and then when it retest, I haven't touched down, so too bad lah. But yeah, this is something I kind of planning, but obviously didn't get in again. So these two sadly like missed the opportunity. All right, but good opportunity there for me not to lose. All right, so these two are the breakout trades. GUP wise, GUP together. I mean, so because GUP is a DEX, right? First of all, this quarter or this year, like fact, right? DEX is one of the hot narratives. Actually, we can see the DEX coin are performing quite okay, right? GUP, Hyperliquid, Uni, right? So GOP wise, I have it in my watch list because it's right at support and it's holding a relatively good uptrend movement. Except last week, Thursday, there is a short, sudden wick down, right? If you look at far away, it's just a long wick down, right? Kind of pierced through the retracement zone, but generally it's still holding the uptrend, right? So this one right now you can see it has been retesting this trend line right near the basically support a few times, right? But this one is like not bullish enough. These two are obviously better. Alright, so later on, since right now it's at the support, so if it bounce back up, right, technically it could potentially be a long, opportunity. But the only thing is now I look at it, the 4 o'clock candle is actually closed lower. So I'm getting a lower high here, right? So in that case, I will probably refer to this resistance. If it break above, potentially along. If then they break below, right, this plus the 200 MA, then maybe that's where most likely Bitcoin will definitely break below the 58K already. Then there will potentially be a short opportunity. But right now, I haven't decided. Then here, as I said, right, actually I see a few shorting opportunity after that day. But because it kind of it hurt me a bit, so I've been planning, but I didn't enter the trade. Yes, I mean we always say we try not to get emotional when trading, right? So here is like personally I'm traumatized, so I don't want to go in and then be fearful and then enter with emotions. Okay. Then Panda previously is actually showing a switching of trend, right? This one, I think I hold this because same thing, right? It's holding a support like Bitcoin. So if later on it break above the support around this range, resistance, right? By the time, because right now it has been dropping, so 200 MA might drop a little bit. So around this level could be a potential breakout. FET is a coin I've been monitoring even longer than INJ and JTU because, let me bring it up, because you can see that it's holding a very nice downtrend movement for a while, right? So if this one break out, right, but the YME 200 is the 200 MA is a bit far, right? If it come down a little bit, right, and I'll probably see, right? If it continue to go down, right, then by the time it go down and retest this support again, okay, the trade idea is if it still get rejected, come back down again, right? But then the 200 MA will go lower already. Then when it break above, then it will be a quite nice breakout, right? I don't know where it goes, how high it can go, but definitely it will give me quite a bit of potential profit margin. But right now it's not breaking. It's not showing any sign of breaking, so I won't do anything. Okay. Do I short? The support is quite near already, so I don't see much of profit margin, right? But if it break above this range, right, this support resistance range plus 200 MA range, then the upside is much more. Right. I mean, these are the coin. Probably most of the trade already not trade. Idea is already not valid. So later at 12, I have, because today I'll be flying, so I haven't really got a chance to trade yet. Tonight I'm definitely gonna stay up and take a look at the market later when 12 o'clock candle close. Right now, honestly, can't do anything, right? Because it's stuck here. If you look at USDT, right, it hasn't really show. I mean, this candle haven't closed out. If later this 4 o'clock candle close below, close bearish, then potentially while it's going down to pull back down a bit, I can probably scalp along, right? It probably can trigger some breakup trades. But if later it close above, then potentially I can start to look for something that is a breakdown short or a trade reversal short. Not trade reversal, trade with the trend short. For example, FET. Okay, so I will stay up to 12 for sure. I feel you feel me on the emotional reaction to certain coins. yeah, I mean, like I want to avoid getting emotional reaction to certain coins. So I rather just ignore. I mean, just stay away from it for a while, right? So that I don't get affected. So for the say mm, say around this level, right? There's a support, like I can spot here, right? So if just now the trade was from where? Here. This retest is it? See, I mean, ideally it can maybe can go down here lah. But recently there's also a support here, right? So I hope some of you already took some profit here when it hit 5135 minimally, like that. Right, so now it's pulling back retest, right? Will it continue? We don't know because this candle still got 20 minutes, right? But if it stop there, right, if you have taken profit when it hit this support, as I said, not only you will not lose money, and also you have secured some profit already. Okay. Before 7 p.m. close. Before 7, this one. Oh, this can break down here. 7 o'clock candle is here. Oh, I don't know. Do you wait? It's a trick cost process. Well, let me see. Let me really look at it. So 0.5282. So 7 o'clock candle breaking off this line. Okay. From here to this one, okay, hitting this with this support already got 2.7% profit. 5. The first TP is 0.05174. Already hit before my support around here. Yeah, so that's about 2% profit already, right? So should have taken, and there's some profit for the day, right? Okay. Yeah, so if you are taken, then move your stop loss. Now you're out with a bit with some profit already. Then now it's already 10:40, right? You can call it a night already, make money already. Right. You put in TP2. TP2 is at what? 0.5085. So as I said, ideally, if I refer to the past, right, this is support, like the lowest it goes is 508. So 5085 is higher, right? But if you didn't do anything when it hit the first TP, then now this is a support line. Okay, personally, I'll probably put my support here, but doesn't matter lah, right? A breakdown, right? So you hope this candle get rejected and continue to go down, right? Then it will be a retest, right? Then potentially can go lower. Now you are already in losses. I hope you didn't move your stop loss. If you didn't take profit, then that means your stop loss is still in the original place. Right? It's much higher, right? 5719 here. Yeah, so you got a lot of, so you still got a lot of room, right? If it doesn't retest here, can still potentially retest here, right? So you never know. Stay in the trade, anything can happen, right? But stop loss here, right? So you pray hard, get rejected somewhere and continue to go down, right? Then got hope. No, 8085 is what I see, right? It obviously hasn't, because recent low is only until here. I do see a 5085 here based on the older candle, right? But obviously it didn't hit just now, so now you need to see whether can it, after this retracement, can it go back up, right? Otherwise your stop loss here, so you see lah, whether it bounce here or a bounce here, which also possible because this is where your retracement zone gonna be, your 200 MA gonna be, right? So hopefully either of this happen. So while staying in the trade, you still stand an opportunity to profit eventually. Okay. You're praying. Yeah. Pray lor. I mean, yeah, nothing much we can do because market is not in our control. Okay. Pray harder. All the best. Good luck to you. Can short now? You may say, not now lah. Does it look like a short setup to you now? You want to short, same thing lor. Either if this one got rejected or if it later got rejected here, then you short because this is a proper resistance, right? You know, you short now based on, because remember we always say, right, you judge based on the candle, the closed candle. This current candle is forming, although still left 12 minutes only, but it is still not closed. Anything can happen before the candle close. So if you were to judge a trade, it's based on the previous candle that has closed. And then this is obviously a bullish engulfing candle, and it actually bounced off a recent support right? So if you pull back from here, you short, then obviously you gonna the worst spot, right? So wait this candle or wait for rejection to happen. Don't short now. Okay, cutting loose is usually, I mean, we normally don't cut loss if originally when you enter the trade and put the stop loss accordingly, right? You already make sure even if it hits stop loss, it's not something that you cannot afford or not willing to lose, right? Unless you enter that trade that time you didn't see properly and then how many percent? Your margin size is not calculated accordingly. So you cannot afford or cannot endure the losses if it hit. Otherwise, if you can stay the trade and then you don't see the change of direction or trade setup, then then I mean typically we stay in the trade, see what happens. But this one is a bit different because it was given, right? And this support is pretty obvious, right? So for not taking it and knowing that okay, potentially it might reverse, then you make your call. Rakan. Okay, good. I think that's all the questions. Okay. Oh, okay, that's our stuff. Okay, all right. Thanks everyone for tuning on a Friday night and putting effort to learn and get updated. All right. So I hope you all enjoy a great weekend. Right, starting Monday, spot a good trade opportunity and make some good profit. Okay. Thanks. All right. Okay. Good night, everyone. See you again.
Funder, right, is actually nothing new. It's what we call a prop firm platform that is used to be available in many other assets. And then Bitfunder is the one that focuses in crypto trading. How it benefits our students is because basically it's a platform that provides you the funds to trade with, which you can trade, make profit, and take your share of profits, right? So for people who are not comfortable or ready to invest big amount, big sum of real cash of their own pocket, it helps for them to leverage other people's funds so that with a small funds they're paying, they get to receive a challenge account that they can use for trading and generate profits and get their shares in it.
Okay, so the CEO came today. So one of the things that I like about is his journey. Like he used to from Forex, then after that how he started the prop firm. I think his mission is to teach people how to trade properly, which is good. And of course Carlos sharing of how he actually plays a trade, whereby he shared that he only trade Bitcoin most of the time, is something new to me lah. Yeah, so that is something that I will also be looking at. Trade more Bitcoins than the altcoins, which quite sort of align with what I plan to do as well.
One thing I like about Bitfunder is that I must give credit to Bernard, because besides introducing us to this account, he also teach us how to trade using Bitfunder and what are the rules to observe so as not to burst the account. So that's one thing I think many of the members really appreciate Bernard for that. And I think it's a good cause that MWA did bring in for the student.
Bitfunder is being introduced to me by MWA, of which I was very, very grateful and thankful. Yeah, and with Bitfunder, I think I can go a much further way and make a lot more money and learn careful trading instead of reckless trading, and that's a good thing.
Hey guys, we just wrapped our event with Bitfunder, one of the world's leading crypto prop firms, and the idea is very, very simple. We fund you, you trade. Minimal downside to you and unlimited upside in terms of profits for you as well. Again, check us out, Modern Wealth Academy and Bitfunder.